Hello, everybody. Welcome into our pre-show here at Computer America. Getting ready to start the program. The video portion has begun, and so glad to have all of you here on today's show. In the second hour, we're going to be doing computer and technology news. That's brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. And since it's Tuesday, we're going to be doing a Gamer Tuesday show today. For those of you who are not familiar with it, we're going to be talking about a game called the Aetherlight. The Aetherlight Chronicles of the Resistance, a program about
1 minute until showtime.
A game done by a company called Scarlet City. We have Tim Clary here with us. He is a world builder for the Aetherlight, and we'll be talking what that actually means. And it should be a very interesting program, and we will be starting momentarily. So sit back, relax, and enjoy 2 hours of the Computer America show coming at you right here. "30 seconds. "10 seconds.
Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Broadcasting live, it's America's longest-running national radio talk show on computers, Computer America, hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. Look for Craig's weekly column in your favorite newspaper. This show is being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. Keep it here for technology news, computer products, guest interviews, and your phone calls. You're listening to Computer America.
Hello and welcome into the Computer America show. It's the nation's longest-running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. Computer America is heard around the world and coast to coast. And I'm your host, Craig Crossman.
And I'm your co-host, Ben.
And it's Tuesday here on the Computer America show. And traditionally, not always, but we dedicate usually the day of Tuesday to Gamer Tuesday. So we're going to call this Gamer Tuesday here on today's program. And it's all about computer games. And we're going to have a very interesting show planned for you. In the second hour, that we're going to have computer and technology news. That's brought to you by Slimware Utilities. They are the official optimization software of Computer America. And in the first hour, we're going to be talking to a gentleman about a very interesting game called the Aetherlight. The title is actually called the Aetherlight Chronicles of the Resistance. All right, Scarlet City Studios produces this game. We're going to have Tim Clary on with us. He is Aetherlight's world builder. And what that is, if you're not into gaming, or if you are and don't know what it means, well, we're going to be finding out. He'll be joining us in the first hour of the show. If you have a comment or question for him or for us, we'd love to hear from you. We are live Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Pick up the phone and give us a call, 347-884-8881. That's 347-884-8881. We'll get you on and get you through. Also, if you have a question but you don't want to go on the air, you're a little radio shy, well, we have a solution for you as well. Just head over to our website, ComputerAmerica.com. You know the show, you know the website. And on any page there on the upper right-hand screen, you'll see it says Submit a Question. Just click it. It's a link. It'll take you to a question submission page where you can type in a question or a comment, suggestion, whatever you like. Click the submit button, and Ben and I will see what you've typed immediately. Isn't that wonderful? Okay. The other thing you can also do is watch the show. I realize we're a radio broadcast. Yes, but most radio broadcasts today also makes live video streaming available, and we certainly do. We've been doing it for some time now. If you want to watch us as well as listen to us, head over to ComputerAmerica.com. On any page there, the menu bar, it says Show Lounge. Just click it, and you will be teleported instantly to our live video stream. You'll join the show already in progress, and you can see us as well as listen to us. You can see myself, you can see Ben. Sometimes you can see our guest. You can't see the guest today, but you will be able to see via Ben images. You'll see websites, videos, movies, links. You'll see all those things that we're going to be talking about today. So it makes for a more interactive experience.
Including gameplay, of course, because, this is going to be about a video game. So we're going to have, gameplay kind of playing in the background and all that good stuff.
Yeah, so you can see all that as well. And it's all available to you at computeramerica.com, the internet home of our radio broadcast. All right, so anything else before we bring Tim on, anything else you want to talk about or mention before we get started, Ben? Oh, I know. Here.
Yeah.
We're upgrading our Logitech contest. Just got off the phone with Logitech. This week we're going to continue to give away the Logitech MX2 mouse, the Anywhere wireless.
MX Anywhere 2 mouse, yes.
For this week, but starting next week we're going to be changing the prize to something new. So if you want a chance to win that Logitech prize, you have one more week to do it. This Friday we're going to be giving one more away, and then we're shifting to a brand new prize. I can't tell you quite what it is yet. I think I know what it is, but until I get a confirmation from Logitech, don't want to say anything. But
it could be anything. It could even be an MX Anywhere 2 mouse.
It could be. It could be. That'd be a little redundant, though, I think.
No, it's good to refresh the prizes.
Yes, and we like to do that. We like to refresh prizes here on the program, so it just keeps things interesting. Okay, well then, I started to ask you if there's anything else that you wanted to mention.
Anything else? No. Lots of good news stories, so be sure to stick around for the second hour. But no, I think our guest has been waiting patiently in the wings, and should probably just jump into it.
Is it a wing? Is it a virtual wing? Is it? What is it these days? The wings, that referred to
it's an E-wing.
An E-wing, yeah. The stage, and you're off to the left of the stage.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, okay. Scarlet City Studios is our guest today. They are all about telling redemptive stories through digitally driven media. Okay. They want to engage this generation in the environments they inhabit with narratives and experiences that bring them to encounter hope and truth. In the Aetherlight, you join the resistance and work with the mysterious Scarlet Man against the evil usurper. Puzzle, quest, and craft your way through a fantastic steampunk world that is ruled by the self-proclaimed Emperor's automatons and smothered by the poisonous fog. Boy, this really gets okay.
Well, there's going to be a bad guy,
Yeah,
that sounds like a bad guy.
Yeah, the Aetherlight is where point and click meets RPG. Isn't that cool? Because typically role-playing games is not point and click, but point and click meets RPG in the Aetherlight. Now, here with us is Aetherlight's world builder, Tim Clary. Tim, welcome into Computer America. How are you, sir?
Hi, I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Our pleasure having you here. So tell us a little bit about, it sounds to me like you have a bit of an accent. Are you from down under?
Yeah, look, I'm from the deep south, but probably a little deeper south than most listening. Look, I'm from Australia originally, but when I was a bit younger, I moved to New Zealand, where I met a beautiful girl and decided to marry her, and decided to stay with our kids, and along the way, joined the team at Scarlet City.
So tell us, what was the motivation? What's your background, Tim?
Yeah, I was a youth pastor for a really long time. So obviously, the whole redemptive story thing, that always resonated with me. But yeah, I worked with teenagers in churches and communities throughout Auckland, and was super passionate about that. And this was a new opportunity to keep doing the part of the job that I really enjoyed almost probably the most, which was telling great stories. And I get to do that to this day with Scarlet City.
Now, how did you find Scarlet City? Did they find you? You found them? I mean, how'd that kind of come to be?
Look, that's really, that's part of a much longer story. But to simplify it, really, I had finished up doing some work at a church, and I went into web sales for a while. Sometimes you just need a change of place, a change of pace, get your head around a new environment. And so I sold websites, and after telling everybody that no, I could not promise them number one on Google, that gets tiring after a while. And a friend of mine calls me and says, "Hey, look, there's this trust. It's a pretty old trust, but they're interested in whether you could game the Bible." And he knew that I had sunk, at least a year of my life into World of Warcraft. I'm still looking for that. And he said, "Would you come along? I'll give you $100." And look, $100 for a free lunch and for somebody to let me talk for a while, that's a pretty compelling invitation.
Yeah.
So I took it, and that was the start of I guess, the story of me and Scarlet City.
Had you ever heard of Scarlet City Studios before that?
Well, look, I was in a really good opportunity for me. I got to be a part of I got to be a founding staff member of Scarlet City.
Wow.
It was a trust originally called the PSSM, the Postal Sunday School movement, that was passionate about connecting people with the kind of the story of God as revealed in the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
And they were just passionate about making it happen in the 21st century, and the most effective way they could see was to do it through a game. And so they founded a studio, and I've been with them since that very beginning.
Now, how long has that been?
It's been 4 years now.
All right.
So I've had 2 kids, and there's a staff of 25. So you can imagine there's been a good few kids born as part of this project.
And now, is this all online, or where are they actually physically located?
They are almost all in New Zealand, in Auckland, which is not the capital, but should be, but we'll leave that for another discussion. So they're in Auckland, which is kind of the largest city in the northern part of New Zealand. It's where Xena and Hercules used to be filmed. More recently, the Shannara Chronicles and so on.
And Lord of the Rings.
And
Lord of the Rings.
Beautiful. Why would you leave? But I left. So I live in Nashville now. To make this all a little bit easier.
That's a switch from Auckland, New Zealand. I mean, they felt the Lord of the Rings, all the sequence of the films were filmed in New Zealand, and now you moved to Tennessee. Why Tennessee?
Look, I wanted to go from the country to all country music, and look, it made sense for us. We had some brand agents here that were already working with us. It's a nice central location. I can be anywhere in 5 hours within the United States. And look, I quite like country music. It's not bad. It's not bad when the city's alive every night with the sweet sounds of a banjo.
Yeah, no, that's great. I mean, I enjoy country music too. I know Ben also likes country music, but
yeah, if you're into it, I mean, you can't get enough of it in Nashville. That'll tickle that itch. It's a good place to be.
Exactly.
So, all right. So then you found yourself in Nashville, Tennessee, and there you are, and you are you're doing what it is that you do with Scarlet City Studios. So is basically, do you call yourself like the U.S. branch of the company? I mean,
yeah, I think so. I think that's U.S. head office. I mean, don't tell anybody I said that, but I think that's a worthy title.
All
Absolutely.
Right. Okay, and most of your colleagues are still in Auckland, New Zealand. For the most part.
Yeah, so everybody from our artists, our developers, to our CEO, and kind of our management team and board, they are primarily all in New Zealand. And they're waking up right now.
Yeah, and how do you have business meetings? Do you do everything online? I mean, how do you stay in touch with each other? Do you use video? How does you stay connected these days?
We use Slack a lot. you know, the kind of inter messaging system, which is phenomenal. The things you can do on Slack are unreal. The day we discovered the kind of /GIF button was the day we lost productivity. It just got silly. And so we use Slack just constantly. I think you might say GIF here, but we say GIF.
Either way successful. Yeah, exactly.
You say tomato, I say tomato.
Exactly.
But we, you know, obviously there's no communication like face-to-face, so we do make sure to Skype regularly or FaceTime regularly.
Do you find yourself having to still go back to fly down to Auckland, New Zealand every once in a while? I mean, or are you pretty much here and you don't have to go there anymore?
Yeah, look, I've only been here 3 months, but I certainly haven't been back for work yet. I haven't been back at all yet. I've got a few weddings to go back for. But look, most of the things that we can do, you know, on those kind of digital formats.
Yeah.
And but you know, I do want to go back regularly. So you know, if the boss is listening, hey, bring me back, boss. Let's have a beer.
All right. Okay. Well, good. All right. So the name of the game is called the Aetherlight Chronicles of the Resistance. Tell us a little bit about the game itself and how it kind of why you chose this to have a game in this format.
Yeah, look, the game was built to connect young people with the story as kind of like portrayed in scripture. So I guess the reality is right now we are making games of all the bestsellers, right? A bestseller comes out, it becomes a movie or a game. In fact, right now we're taking games and turning them into movies. And we saw an opportunity to take, you know, the best-selling book of all time, and make a game of it in a way that was super captivating for young people. So we didn't necessarily kind of tell the story, you know, 2,000 years ago in Israel, men kind of running around in dresses and beards and sandals. You know, not that those things aren't really cool, but they're not as compelling to a 21st century kind of young person as steampunk. And we doubled down on the steampunk. So we really tell an echo of the biblical story in this steampunk digital playground, because it is genuinely a playground. Yeah, it's point and click. Yeah, there's a narrative that takes you on a journey through the story. There's main quests and side quests that are all taking you somewhere through that narrative. But it's also just incredibly fun. It's full of crafting, full of exploration, full of puzzles, battle. And the world is exciting. It's a cool place to explore. It's a cool place to kind of adopt as your own and want to tell your own stories within. I mean, who doesn't love steampunk? It's got those Victorian values that seem so, you know, romantic and classic, fused with just really big guns and steam, you know, boiling canisters of whatever and dynamite and you know, the crafting is unreal because it just combines this aesthetic that is just so fun to explore and play within.
And and of course you're coming at this obviously, you know, from the Bible. That's obviously going to be you know, a big influence throughout the whole thing. But I got to say, you know, I've played lots and lots of games. And, you know, everything that you're mentioning a little bit earlier in the interview of, you know, a story of redemption, this and that. I mean, biblical allegory, I don't know if it's subconscious or not, but you can draw a lot of parallels between a lot of games and the Bible. I mean, you know, you mentioned that you play World of Warcraft, and, you know, one of the central characters for a while there, you know, he was pretty much a one-to-one allegory for Jesus. You know, Thrall being an allegory for Jesus. And, you know, people, you know, saw that very, very quickly. Why did you feel the need to come at this? Because it seems like people created, you know, some kind of fantasy world on their own. And then, you know, maybe because it's what they grew up with, it's what they know, it's, you know, they know it's a compelling story that's obviously lived, you know, for thousands of years. But why did you feel to come at this from the other side where, hey, you know, we need to, you know, kind of stick a little more closely and then build a game around that story instead of the other way around?
Yeah. Well, I've probably got two answers to that question. And one is that the fact that I think the Bible is a great book, right? Regardless of your kind of faith stance, as a piece of literature, it's exquisite, it's compelling, it's, you know, a crazy amount of books put together in this one volume of poetry and history and lament. It doesn't pull any punches. It's brutally honest but remarkably poetic. It's grand and epic in its scale, but it speaks intimately to the human soul. And so I see the book as really valuable in culture, and I guess that matters. And in a culture where that book has become something that even the people who claim to be of that book, the Christians in the world, don't actually engage with or read, we need to, you know, rebuild some excitement for that book. Because if it is everything I've just said it is, it's worthy of reading. And I mean, obviously I'm of the belief it's worthy of living out of as well. And so that's compelling and exciting for me, is how we can deliver, you know, that kind of concept, bring people to an awareness through this echo or this allegory of actually how compelling and exciting that story is if you were to just read it right. But instead, we've boiled it down to morality or kind of Allsop's fables and taken the meat and the grunt out of what is a pretty darn cool story. The other side of that is, you're right. I mean, these redemptive stories, as you say, are everywhere. They surround us. I mean, we love stories that are full of heart. We love stories that are full of emotion. And, you know, those will always permeate culture because we do resonate with those stories. There's a reason Hollywood loves that story of kind of sacrificial love. There's a reason that, you know, you see it in Lord of the Rings, you see it in Narnia, but you see it in things as kind of quirky and crazy as, you know, H.M. Barry's Peter Pan, you know. In that story, his whole way of doing life is trust and faith and pixie dust. I mean, that is still, to an extent, a pretty incredible redemptive story. And so redemptive stories actually permeate culture. It's seeing the meaning within them that I think is truly remarkable and exciting. That was a really long answer. I got excited.
No. It made perfect sense. And of course, you know, coming at this with the game, because, you know, like you said, there are lots of examples of these elements, but, you know, kind of, I think the one that has obviously had the most impact, you know, not just in video games and culture and whatnot, but, you know, society, let's face it, you know, it's the Bible, for goodness sakes. So, and as, and we mentioned this a little bit earlier, and we should probably get into it. Your title is, of course, coming on the show, is World Builder. You know, and so you mentioned that, you know, you were a youth pastor for a little while, and, you know, and that obviously helped with world building. But how, what exactly do you do as a world builder, and how did your own experiences kind of help you build, you know, help you build Aetherlight?
Yeah, great question. Look, for us, a world builder is kind of different from your traditional game studio world builder. A lot of world builders in the game studio take assets and kind of plant them into the landscape of a game and kind of fill out levels and make levels feel more alive and real. For us, the world builder looks after kind of the meta story of the game, the characters, the location. So my responsibility was Aphasia, and how the kind of meta story from the history to the way that Aphasia will be used in game reflects the biblical story, but actually becomes a sandbox for the telling and the curation of those kind of stories that will echo that narrative. So how do the characters teach us something about the original characters in the biblical story without feeling cheesy or silly, or without discrediting or devaluing the great nature of the characters in the Bible, but also telling them in a way that they're real? You know, for so long, I think the Bible got discounted by a lot of people because we told our story like it was full of heroes, but the biblical story is not in any way full of heroes. It's full of people, and people, for the most part, are flawed, which is actually what makes the Jesus character in the Bible so remarkable. And if you don't have, flawed characters throughout the Bible, you're actually ignoring so much of what makes the Bible rich and compelling.
Yeah,
So put these characters into the game as well, and let them live out stories in a kind of a sandbox that was explorable and palatable and exciting and engaging and diverse.
Yeah, it really does sound like it has all the elements that it's kind of pre-made for a very compelling storyline. Of course, putting it in the medium of game, that is something that I think you're not really going to go to Sunday school or to church or whatever, and you're going to say, and the pastor's like, well, everyone, we got you all laptops and a game, so learn the scripture that way, folks. Like that's not really what people associate with video games.
Well, but are you, Tim? Are you competing with the Bible? I mean, the storyline, or are you amplifying it, or are you is the game alongside of it? I mean, how are you positioning
If
yourself?
someone comes out after playing, doing a little playthrough of Aetherlight, like are they going to see comparisons, or are they going to be like, oh yeah, I can tell you that story because I played through it? Is it 1-to-1?
No, I don't think it's 1-to-1. I think that would be. I think that'd be weird. 1-to-1. I mean, that story fits in that context, and so you can't 1-to-1 a contextual story, but you can bring out the elements. When you look at how it was written for an original audience, how that audience would be today. When you look at what was the meaning, what was the theme, what was the time and place that these stories were written in and for, who was the original intended audience. When you take all of those things and you start to explore it, then you can put it through a lens that contextualizes it for culture now and gives it a new kind of life. Are people going to think, are we competing with the Bible? Absolutely in no way are we competing with the Bible. In fact, my actual love for the Bible is greater, having been a part of the creation of this game. The people that play it, some of them don't even know it's a biblical game, and I think that's awesome. I think that's great. Some people do. Some people, when they find out, are like, "Oh my goodness, this is the Bible. This is so cool." Some people are like, "I can't believe this is actually fun." And so, you have all those postures, but at no point do I think this replaces the Bible or directly competes with. It only serves to, as you said, Craig, amplify, I think, the Bible.
Okay. So it just, as you said, it amplifies. Now, what do you have a specific age for this? I mean, it's like when you go to World of Warcraft. I mean, that's like
NC-17.
Yeah, that's all ages. What age is Aetherlight kind of aimed at? Whom are you aiming this towards?
Yeah, 10 to 12-year-olds was the kind of sweet spot. But we have plenty of adults playing and loving it. We've got 8-year-olds playing and loving it. I think story is one of those unifying features. Everybody loves good story. Everybody loves stories that resonate with us. Adults struggle with some of the gameplay. I was on a call with a lady this morning who said, I just couldn't work out this thing. And I said, that's probably because you're not 12 and you haven't grown up playing these kind of games. You haven't grown up with this interface. But regardless, yeah, look, 10 to 12 was the target, and people all around that age demographic are playing, as well as, obviously, that age demographic.
Well, okay. So now, let me just ask you this. If I don't, I'm going to have to use this sort of as a noun, I guess, or a verb. But how Christian is this game? How explicitly Christian is this game? Does that kind of creep into this? Is it a big part of it?
It's like there's Moses and then there's Boses, and Moses sends you on a quest.
Moses sends you on a quest, exactly. I mean, does that factor into this game, Tim? Can you speak a little bit about that?
Yeah, look, how explicitly Christian is this game? No more explicitly Christian, I don't think, than any story. It's a story that is heavily influenced by the biblical narrative. right? And in some places there is a one-to-one correlation. But we can sit with other great stories, narratives in culture, and actually come up with a pretty solid one-to-one, comparison. I mean, you can look at Superman and see a pretty strong one-to-one comparison between him and the character of Jesus, right? So, is it explicitly Christian? The studio, many of the members are, absolutely. But in no way does that come across in the game as super cheesy or super in your face. I mean, in no way were we trying to create a game that would, for lack of a better term, Bible bash people. We wanted to create a great game that echoed the biblical story, because the biblical story is a lot of fun, is a great story and worthy of telling.
So, and for everyone watching the video portion, we have pictures and screenshots and little video clips of here and there. The art, like I would say, the character models are pretty good, but the art for the backgrounds, the scenery, and that kind of thing are all really, really great. How many people did you have on your team working on the art?
Is it just under 30? On the whole project?
Why don't we hold off on that, because we're up against the break, okay? And then we'll continue on with this, okay, Tim? You're listening to the Computer America Show. Ben and I are talking to Tim Clary. He is a world builder for the game called Aetherlight. We're going to continue on with them. We've got some commercial messages. We've got a news testable to review from Marty Winston. That's all coming up. We'll be right back.
Sometimes disaster strikes. Data can be lost due to many different reasons: accidental reformatting, power spikes, virus attacks. Zero Assumption Recovery provides a suite of highly effective and thorough data recovery software for Windows operating systems. ZA is suitable for home users and small businesses who need a powerful data recovery solution for Windows and Linux file systems.
Go to z-a-recovery.com.
Sometimes disaster strikes. Data can be lost due to many different reasons: accidental reformatting, power spikes, virus attacks. Zero Assumption Recovery provides a suite of highly effective and thorough data recovery software for Windows operating systems. ZA is suitable for home users and small businesses who need a powerful data recovery solution for Windows and Linux file systems.
Go to z-a-recovery.com.
Hi, this is Craig Crossman, host of the Computer America Show. You have important meetings to schedule. Your company's getting ready for its IPO, and you're in charge of the PTA fundraiser this month. So how do you coordinate everyone to be available at the same time? Are you still using emails, phone calls, even text messages to schedule meetings with a group of people? How's that working out for you? That's so great, huh? It's a fact that every day, millions of people suffer from scheduling headaches. Well, with Doodle, scheduling meetings with a group of people is quick and easy. With Doodle, you can easily propose available times to each member. Each one checks off the times that they're available, and then you simply pick the time that works best for the group, all in an easy-to-read display that integrates with your existing calendar. Nothing could be more simple. Give Doodle a try for free, and like millions of Doodle users, you'll truly see how easy it is to find the perfect date and time for all your meetings. That's www.doodle.com.
So a chicken walks into a bar. Oh, hi, Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America. This time, the Seek Thermal camera for Android. If you feed your smartphone enough carrots, can you get it to see in the dark? Probably not. But plug in a Seek Thermal micro USB connected thermal imaging camera and load its free app to start seeing heat images on your smartphone screen, side by side, if you like, with visible light images. You can record video or stills, but the coolest part of seeing heat is what you get to see. Warm versus hot spots on the grill, where window or door insulation is letting you down. Warm wall spots that can signal electrical problems, critters in the yard, and more. Bottom line, the Seek Thermal Heat Imaging Camera for Android. Let your smartphone see heat, which is a cool thing when you're being practical, and hot when you're having fun. Marty Winston, News Tips Bulletin for Computer America.
Welcome back to the Computer America Show here, 33 minutes past the hour. And we are here in the first hour talking with Mr. Tim Cleary. He is from Aetherlight, and we're talking about this game. And sorry, I posed you with a question, and then we hit that break head on. So my apologies, but as I said before the break, that some of these screenshots and videos from the game, very, very scenic, and not a lot of games kind of it's not going to be as gritty as, say, something like Dark Souls or what have you. But I mean, for the age market that you're going for, 10 to 12, it almost looks storybook-esque in the graphics and the artwork.
Yeah, it does.
So,
yeah, look, we had to. I think we were up against. We realised we were telling a story that was going to be really polarising to people. You say that you're a Christian game studio, you're doing something with the Bible or the biblical story, and people straight away kind of freak out a little bit, and I don't blame them. I mean, for so long, Christian gaming has been really hobbyist or just kind of disconnected from culture. So we had to go out there from the gate with a really great aesthetic, because we didn't want to make something that was kind of second class to what was going on out there. We wanted to make something that looked super good, that felt super real, that played super well. And so there was no kind of barrier to entry for people thinking this was just another product or another Christian ripoff.
Yeah.
We wanted this to be something that was just really good in its own right.
And it definitely shows. I mean, like you even have some of the some of the pictures from, I assume, are like the battle sequences and stuff. One thing that we haven't gotten into yet, which is obviously very, very important for gameplay, for games, is gameplay. So Craig mentioned at the top of the hour that it was RPG meets point and click. So how exactly does one kind of navigate and kind of play the game? Is it keyboard mouse or?
Yeah, so look, it is keyboard mouse, really mouse, very little keyboard, and it's also touch if you're playing on an iPad or Android device, and so, which just feels good. It feels an exciting way to explore a world, because you go, oh, what's that? And just when a kid reads a picture book, I got a kid who's 4 years old, and he always ruins my flow by seeing something that excites him and clicking on it. I mean, so that feels natural, which is so much fun. And it's a world that's like that. It's a world that is going to be good to you if you're inquisitive and interested. It's a world that's aesthetically pleasing. But it's a world where crafting is totally normal and makes sense. So we've got a really cool kind of crafting mechanic where you're taking cogs and litter and sprockets and springs. I have to say that like I'm Scottish, because that's what one of the characters keeps doing. But you're crafting with coral, and you're crafting with copper. You're crafting with feathers, and you're crafting with hammers. And so there's all sorts of kind of combos, and at no point are we taking ourselves too seriously. It's a whole lot of fun. It's irreverent, whilst being, something that is passionate about, the story and the Bible, but is still happy to be irreverent. We're not going to sweat the small stuff. And so that's kind of crafting. And then you got battle, which, people say, oh, it's battle. In a game of honestly, read the Bible. It's full of violence. It's a ruthless book.
Yeah.
And so it makes sense that we've actually got battle. And, when you pop off some automatons, their heads pop off, and it's relatively comedic, which is cool for kind of the younger players. And I guess we went to the George Lucas school of battle for young people, in that, he wanted to do, dare we talk about the prequel trilogy, but, he did droids, so we didn't see blood. Smart move. And it probably brought a whole younger generation into the Star Wars world. We're doing a similar thing with automatons. You don't see any blood. So parents are kind of less freaked out about that when you tell them it's kind of like paper, scissors, rock, but a little bit more comprehensive, with some great characters and a bit of comedy.
Let me ask you this, because I'm not a World of Warcraft player. I mean, how does Ben? I mean, is World of Warcraft? Does it have blood? I mean, is it violent in that way, or is it also
Blood, alcohol, cursing, you know, all the stuff that you probably don't want kids too young exposed to. And, you know, don't get me wrong, all that stuff exists, but you know, when you're, you know, trying to convey something, or you know, when they're really developing stuff that you might want to kind of, you know, work into slowly, or you know, really try to avoid. But yeah, no, you know, compared to other very, very popular games out there, I mean, you know, some of the most popular ones, you know, take a sword, hack their head off, and you know, lots of blood and gore and all that kind of stuff, and you know, it's a lot of fun, but may not be appropriate for all ages.
What is the rating on World of Warcraft? And then Tim,
T for teen.
T for teen. And Tim, what is Aetherlight's rating?
Well, we don't actually have an official rating yet, but we are kid safe, which is, I guess, a rating in itself. We're COPA compliant and kid safe approved. So that does mean that there are certain limitations to you know, the violence and also the safety of kids online. So,
is there
like I'm not the rating board by any means, but you know, just looking at the screenshots, looking at the videos, looking at the gameplay, you know, Aetherlight would probably land somewhere between the E and E10 age range. You know, there's E for everyone, and then there's E and 10 plus, which is everyone 10 and up. So you know, nothing too bad for parents to be too concerned about.
Would you agree with that rating, Tim?
look, we have nowhere near as much violence, cursing, or alcohol as our source material.
But wine is in the Bible, all over that, right? They do have that.
I'm pretty sure Jesus' first miracle was water into wine, and he was making a statement.
Exactly. So, I mean, pretending it isn't there doesn't mean that it isn't there, but you're handling it in a way that will basically say that this is a kid-safe program, and they're having fun. But while they're having fun, they're learning about good things. I mean, what makes some of the Christian doctrine is
yeah. Look, I don't even think the Christian doctrine. I mean, here's the thing: parents are worried about the things their kids are playing online, the kind of material they're digesting in the digital space, and whether you're a Christian or not. We're not trying to push any doctrine on people. We're just trying to tell a really good story that is based on the Bible. We're never going to shy away from that fact. We're passionately based on the Bible because it's a really good story. And it's a story that's actually going to do nobody any harm from living out of. It's a much better story than some of the kind of cultural stories we have of gang life and alcohol and substance abuse. This is a story that actually says that, we should actually love each other as God's loved us, and we should be about peace. We should be about gentleness, faithfulness, self-control, all of these great things. None of that is dogma. None of that is doctrine. That's actually just all good living and right living in community. And so it's a really positive thing for young people to be engaged with from whatever kind of background they come.
Okay, and that's that's good. I mean, I guess what I'm trying to find out is are the stories from the Bible in Aetherlight, or is it a separate story that's just borrowing some of the stories from the Bible?
No, I'd say the stories from the Bible are pretty clearly in the Aetherlight. This first episode that's released on May the 3rd here in the States is the story of Abraham, and kind of that guy who's called from a faraway land to begin a process of blessing the world, and that goes on, right? And for us in the game, that's the process of this guy Alexander coming and starting a resistance to take back Aphasia from the usurper king and to restore the great engineer.
So have the names been changed from the story, or is it the same? Are you still using the same names that are found in the Bible?
No, the names have changed. So Abraham for us is Alexander. So, but even some don't start with the same letter. But some we have done a start with the same letter to keep it really simple for people. If they do want to take it to that level, of direct comparison, right? It's one of those things where we want it to be accessible and used in whatever way somebody wants to use it. If homeschool parents want to use this as their religious education curriculum, well, we're not providing that currently, but they can do that. They can, parents can play this game with their kids and use it as a translation tool or a exposition tool or a way to get their kids engaging in, worldview or cultural history. It's edutainment.
Maybe this is just a suggestion. I know it's, the game's coming out, maybe be too late, but a suggestion. So many games they have all kinds of these things where you can configure the games. You can add shadows. You can turn this on. You can turn that off. You can make it more bloody. Maybe they should have a little checkbox in Aetherlight that says, do you want to use our characters' names, or do you want to use the characters in the Bible's name? Just one check, and now.
Well, I think the lack of the one-to-one comparison is probably going to throw that.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, you mentioned the kind of opt-in check boxes. We still have those. For many people, we've put in a life cycle messaging system that Christian parents can switch on, so they have discussion starters for their kids, so they have a way to understand what their kids are learning, as opposed to what they know of the biblical story. We're working on a companion app that will help, because, the church market is a massive market. You've got, within our demographic, you've got 16 million 10 to 12-year-olds who claim to be Christians, right? So we'd be fools to not have things in the game for them. But we'd also, and to have things outside of the game for them. We've done a Bible, a physical, Bible, with Tyndale, who are a Bible publisher here in Chicago. We'd be foolish to not do things for Christians that are specific for Christians. But we're also doing things for the wider market because it's a great story that it actually deserves the AAA game treatment, but that's a budget we didn't have, but it deserves a good game treatment.
Okay. All right. Well, good. So tell us a little bit about this title, World Builder, that you have. Actually, what does that mean?
Yeah, so for us, it's just it's the way we describe what I do, which is kind of look after, I guess, the main thrust of our IP. If this was a movie franchise, Harry Potter, I'd kind of be like the J.K. Rowling, right? Where I don't have a say in how the movies take place. I do. I have a say in how the movies take place, but I'm not the last word in how the movies take place if I'm J.K. Rowling. It's the same thing with us.
Well, I got a feeling, though, J.K. Rowling's got some pretty heavy-duty clout when it comes to Harry Potter. But okay.
And I've got clout, when it comes to how the Aetherlight is used in game, how the characters play out, and so on. But I'm not a game designer, right? I'm a writer and a thinker and a speaker. I'm not a game designer. So the game designers need to do that. Just like J.K. Rowling isn't a film director. Yeah. Again, she's a writer. And so World Builder is a way to describe the way I caretake the IP that is in the game, the characters, the world, the sandbox of Aphasia and the Aetherlight.
Okay. And how much of a commitment to your time does the World Builder title take from you?
Well, I actually see it as a holistic, almost all my time, really, because I see my role now is building the world of Aphasia, but actually helping tell the world of the world about the world of Aphasia, if that makes sense. So I feel like I'm just building worlds all over the show here, which is pretty fun, really. There are worse jobs.
Yeah, I'm sure there are. It sounds like you are having a lot of fun with this. And now you mentioned that the game is technically not released yet. When is the release of this game going to make its way so people can actually start playing it?
Yeah, look, they can start playing it right now. We're in a thing called Founders Access, which is kind of a mix between early access and a Kickstarter. So you can go to the Aetherlight.com and you can choose a tier and purchase that tier. And for $12.99, you can play episode 1 right now. But for $500, you can play episode 1. You can pre-order episode 2. In fact, you can pre-order a couple of copies of episode 1, a couple of copies of episode 2, some special edition posters, a statue of the Scarlet Man, lifetime episodes, all sorts of things. And there's a whole lot of tiers in between those. But from the 3rd of May here in the US, May the 4th be with you in New Zealand and Australia and all those people who live in the future. The game will be live in real life.
And what is the game
for all?
And what is the game going to cost for the actual real live playing? What do you project it to be?
Yeah, look, we project it to be $10 an episode ish. That could fluctuate a little bit depending on obviously your region and your platform, but $9.99.
And how many
across most platforms?
And how many levels are there planned for this game?
Well, we're launching with 1, but there's about 16 planned, and that's because people are saying limit it. I mean, we could go for ages, mate. It's so much fun, and obviously we need to see what the appetite's like. But there's about 16 to 18 episodes planned.
Okay. But the actual one that's coming out on May the 4th is the only one that you're developing at this time, or how difficult or how much work is involved in coming up with another, the next level?
Yeah, look, it's an episodic cycle. So right now, as we are, I can be honest with you, episode 1's in the can. So the guys are starting pre-production. No, they're starting kind of production on episode 2 and pre-production on episode 3.
Okay.
Right now, and so in 3 months' time, the first kind of in August, not only does this, as I said and mentioned earlier, this companion Bible comes out. I mean, that's already up for pre-order on Amazon.com, but the Bible kind of comes out, but so does episode 2. And look, 3 months after that, episode 3, and 3 months after that, episode 4. And I can tell you heaps about those episodes. A lot of the kind of narrative pre-production on those episodes is set out and done. And it's about kind of using our resources well in terms of our artists and developers and game designers. But we've got book series that we're looking to bring out, all sorts of kind of fun stuff. It's a transmedia brand, and I hate saying that because everybody wants to be a transmedia brand, but we are doing everything we can to tell these stories really well in the best format possible. And for people who want to delve deeper into aspects of the game, we're going to do that through books or through this companion Bible and all sorts of ancillary products to go with that game experience.
Right. And so for video game, we should probably get a couple things out of the way. Is this, you have to have online access, or can you play it completely offline? Yeah, you have to have online access. That's really important because it is a online game, and so you are playing with friends. You're able to chat with friends, and so all that functionality is important. And it's cross-platform, so you want to be able to play with your friends wherever they might be, however they might be interacting with the experience. All right, and
so crucial.
Yeah. Got it. So, and the other thing is, how would one go about getting this game? Is this published individually by you? Is it through Steam? How would one go about purchasing this?
Yeah, so right now for Founders Access, you can get that at www.theaetherlight.com, and that is AETHERLIGHT, theaetherlight.com. But from May the 4th, we're looking at all the kind of major platform delivery systems. Steam probably won't be happening then. Well, I can say pretty much definitely won't be happening then. But iOS, Android, where the great games are sold, you'll probably find this game.
All right.
Just out of curiosity.
Except Steam.
Yeah, just
awkward.
So just tell me a little bit, what kind of reaction are you getting from the pre games? What kind of response? What are people saying about the Aetherlight?
Yeah, look, I'm super surprised because we thought that some people would go, "Oh my goodness, this is terrible," or "It's really cheesy," but it's not, which is great. Probably the best story I can tell is we're in a school in Auckland about 6 or 8 months ago. So we're playing still an early version of episode 1 with these kids, and the bell rang, and I don't know about you guys, but where we're from, it seems that the guys who run the computer labs are pretty titchy about people bringing food in. So the lunch bell has rung, and it's time for lunch, and the computer teacher said, "You can't eat your lunch in here." And the kids were like, "Oh, but we want to keep playing." And so we were like, "Sorry, guys, it's kind of you keep playing or you go eat lunch." And 2 kids in a room of 26 kids left. One had to eat because he had diabetes. The other was probably bored. But look, there's even footage of that floating around on the internet. It was a pretty remarkable response because I don't know about you, but I would never miss a good game of handball and lunch.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but there you go. Well, that's a wonderful testament as to what you will probably be expecting, the kind of reaction you're going to be getting from this game. Again, it's called.
It will starve your kids. No, I don't think that's the message that they're going for.
Okay, well, it's coming out on May, and again, it's going to sell for $9.99 online when it goes live. You can go to the website and some of the pre-systems are available that you can look at. But again, it goes mainstream on the 4th of May. Again, it's the Aetherlight. You can go. The website is the Aetherlight.com, and it's TheAetherlight.com, or head over to ComputerAmerica.com. Right there on our homepage, we have a link to it. It's right there on our homepage at ComputerAmerica.com. That'll stay up there for the rest of the week, and actually, we'll stay up there for quite some time. We make all of the links for our guests available at our website at ComputerAmerica.com. Tim, very enlightening, really. I want to thank you for taking the time to let our listeners know about this game and all of the things associated with it. And it looks like there are a lot of kids are going to be in for a real interesting ride when they start playing Aetherlight.
Yeah, look, we're super excited. Thanks so much for having us, guys. It's been a treat.
Absolutely, and thank you for being with us here. Again, it's the Aetherlight.com is the website. Tim Clary, world builder for the game. Tim, thanks so much for being with us here on Computer America. It was a real pleasure having you here.
Thank you.
All right, take care. Have a good day.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys.
All right, bye-bye. All right, there he goes, Tim Clary again with the Aetherlight. Yeah, I mean you're the gaming expert. I mean this is not like the major, was it the cinematics, AAA kind of games. They're not aiming for that kind of audience with this, right?
No, and obviously, but there's definitely a large segment of the population that, let's face it, a lot of the video games out there, I feel like the people that this will appeal to, obviously, the conservative parents and things like that. A lot of video games out there aren't really suitable if you are, if you are one of those parents that are, that is concerned about, violence, alcohol, bloodshed, blah 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 blah. And there aren't really a lot of games out there that are, first of all suitable, second of all, interesting enough to capture your kid's attention, and third of all teaches them something. I mean, a lot of even the most popular games really only fall into 2 of those 3 categories. Aetherlight, admittedly, I have not played it, but after talking with Tim for an hour, it seems like they really worked hard to hit all 3 of those. But like, let's say a game like Angry Birds, very captivating and doesn't have bloodshed, but it doesn't really teach your kid anything. Whereas another game that maybe a little more adult that does have bloodshed or something along those lines, not suitable, even though it may be extremely engaging and it may teach a story, a lesson at the end of the story, but it may not be suitable. So I think there's a huge gap in games that fall into all 3 of those categories, and this looks like it may be one of those. Admittedly, a lot of parents, they really don't care that their there are, that there is alcohol consumption in games, that there is bloodshed, that there is cursing, that there is this and that, for their 10, 11, 12-year-old. But, some conservative parents, they are very concerned about that. And, like I said, this fills that role.
I mean, look what happened. You were just commenting the other day when you went to see the movie.
Which one? Deadpool?
Deadpool, yeah, and you're concerned that little kids were coming in there in Deadpool costumes. I mean, when you were a kid, would you have enjoyed this game at that age group? Would you have liked to play this?
Let's see, what was I playing? I started playing Warcraft 1 when I was 4, so that had bloodshed and alcohol use.
Yeah.
I was playing StarCraft that had gratuitous bloodshed and violence. Diablo 2, my God, that I played that when I was 7, and that's kind of like the opposite of the Bible. So,
but didn't you play SimCity and all the other those games?
And the key to this is, and even for those conservative parents that I was just talking about, variety in video games is very important. This may fit all of your needs, but as kids grow up and play more video games, and their friends tell them about video games, variety is definitely important. But if you're looking for, maybe if you're a grandparent looking for a game for your kid, they mentioned that this was very engaging. Hey, this is sure not to offend. So,
all right, okay,
that's a rarity nowadays.
Well, again, you can see all of it at their website, or head over to computeramerica.com and check it out. Coming up in the next hour, computer and technology news brought to you by Slimware Utilities. Some of the stories we're going to be covering are artificial intelligence, but not playing Go, but using it to translate Facebook photos for the blind. That's interesting. And also the Microsoft HoloLens. What's in the box when you get it? And also an app that encrypts all messaging for billions of users. All those stories and more are coming up. Stay with us.
Broadcasting live, it's the only national radio talk show on computers to air every weeknight. Computer America, hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. The first hour's behind us, but there's still more of tech news, tech talk, and your phone calls. We're being beamed nationwide at computeramerica.com. You got computer problems? Bring them on. You're listening to Computer America. Computers run the world, and we run computers. Call us or send us an email to live@computeramerica.com.
Hello and welcome into hour 2 of the nation's longest running nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. This is the Computer America Show, and I'm your host, Craig Crossman.
And I'm your co-host, Ben.
And we just finished talking to Tim Cleary, the world builder for Aetherlight. If you missed any portion of that show, you certainly can listen to it again. We archive all of our shows at computeramerica.com. Just head over to the website and click on the archives link, and you can see all the different places that carry the show, archive it, and you can listen to it at your convenience. So not only can you listen to us live Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern time, but you can also listen to us whenever you like. Okay, we make all of our shows available. Our live streaming audio. We have our own YouTube channel. We have, on Apple's iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, the Blog Talk Radio Network, the TuneIn Radio Network, the IRN Radio Network. All these networks carry our show. And again, you can find out where you can go and how to get to them and listen to them at computeramerica.com, the internet home of radio broadcast. Again, we teased it, a new Logitech prize. We're going to, not this coming Friday, but next Friday, we're going to be introducing a brand new mouse. I think I already leaked it. I said the mouse. Okay. I think it's going to be the M535 Bluetooth mouse. Not this week, but next week we're going to be introducing a brand new mouse from Logitech. We'll give you more details as we discover them. But we are this Friday giving away the Logitech MX2 Anywhere wireless mouse, valid at $80. So we're going to be giving that away. And
that's a cute little mouse.
Yeah, it is a cute little mouse. Yeah. Again, we're just trying to keep things, keep things interesting. And we're going to continue in that endeavor when it comes to the prizes we're giving away. But of course, you can't win them unless you enter a contest. Again, head over to computeramerica.com and go to our contest page. It's right there in the pull-down menu bar on any page at computeramerica.com under the Interact, and it says social media contests, and then the instructions of how to register are very, very simple, and you can get up to like 5 entries every single week, depending on how many social media groups that you follow, up to 5 of them, and that's how many drawings you can get every single week to win something nice, which is a lot better odds than trying to win the lotto. Okay, I'll tell you that.
A little bit better.
A little bit better. All right. So that said, we're going to do some computer news. And anything else you want to mention before we get started in that endeavor?
Anything else? No. I think we're good to go.
Okay. You want to talk a little bit about some of the stuff that we're going to be reviewing? I know we keep getting items in the mail being sent.
Well, yeah. Just this morning, walked in the door and we received a thermostat from Honeywell.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we're going to get them on the show in early June because they said they had a couple things to announce and they want to talk about that. After they release it. But yeah, it's the Honeywell. Oh man, completely drawing a blank on their
Wi-Fi. Yeah, it's their Wi-Fi thermostat.
It's their Wi-Fi thermostat, but it has a better name than just Wi-Fi thermostat. But yeah, it's one of their newer models, and we're going to be setting that up and putting it through Spaces, and that's probably going to be an article. We're going to write a review article about that, so keep an eye out for that. And then, of course, Honeywell itself, we're going to talk about their entire line of smart home products in a month or two. So, be on the lookout for that.
Yep. And, of course, if you're looking at our calendar at computeramerica.com, our public calendar, Zolt is going to be on the show this coming Thursday. And we have a number of their charger devices. They sent us a couple of those to look and review. And so we'll be talking about those as well. But a lot of interesting things that we're going to be talking about as far as products are concerned. So stay tuned for that. All right. Well, then let's go ahead and do some computer news. Today's computer and technology news is brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. You can visit them at slimwareutilities.com to clean, speed up, and optimize your Windows system. Check them out. You'll be very happy that you did, and you'll thank us for it. Really, slimwareutilities.com.
Okay, and let's start with let's start with this one. This is of course a bit more in the science and space category, but why not start out in the stars? So here we have an article from Popular Science, and it's a great publication. They have a lot of great stories, and this one is about they have found a gas giant planet that is orbiting not one star, not 2 stars, but 3 stars.
Wow.
At the same time. So, when there's a sunrise, and then there's a sunrise, and then there's a sunrise? Yeah, you may be on this gas giant. So, yeah, this is the planet Kelt 4AB, orbits not 1 but 3 stars, as we said, and of course it's a whole lot of sunshine. And the planet's discovery is announced in a study published in the Astronomical Journal. So it's a rare find. Only 4 planets have been found in 3-star systems since the first one was found back in 2005. And planets orbiting triple suns are particularly fascinating because humans love a good sunset. So while planets around some of these triple systems don't disappoint, others do, such as HD 188753. That old planet.
Yeah,
of course. Sunsets on a moon of the planet are thought to look something like this. And of course, if you're watching the video portion of the show, you'll see a nice visual representation of what a sunset would look like. And it's a single sun and then 2 other suns trailing behind it, which is a weird thing to look at. So, it's the article goes on saying that's pretty cool. But what about this new one that they just found, which is again Kelt-4AB, and on that planet, Gizmodo actually reported that the primary star would look 40 times larger than our own sun.
Wow.
That's a big sun. But of course, it's just because it's closer. And the planet would orbit its primary star once every 3 days, whipping around so fast that one side of the planet is constantly day and the other is constantly night.
Mm.
Obviously, gas giant aside, not a very habitable place.
No.
And of course, gas giant, you probably couldn't live there anyways. So the other two stars would mostly be doing their own thing, orbiting the larger primary star along with the planet, switching places in the sky every 30 years or so, and shining down on Kelp 4AB with a light no brighter than a full moon. Just something very cool that they announced again in the Astronomical Journal. And hey, who doesn't like hearing about strange planets and strange far away, galaxies and all that kind of stuff? Because the single star system that we kind of find ourselves in right now, obviously pretty common. Two-star systems, a little bit less common, but still out there. And now we have three-star systems, which only so far as they said, 4 planets have been found revolving around this kind of stuff. It's
very cool.
It's interesting that our universe has so much variety in just what you can find out there.
Infinite variety, really,
because I guess once upon a time, 2-star systems were thought to be the ultimate rarity, and that I'm sure at one point would never exist. Mm-hmm. And now here we are with 3, and I'm sure 4s exist because let's face it, there are billions upon trillions of stars. There has to be variety out there.
Yeah, there is plenty of it. Lots more. That's just the tip of the iceberg. Well, in light of Apple's controversy with the FBI and making things private and trying to protect people's privacy, this story by Dave Gershcorn from Popular Science is interesting because it's entitled WhatsApp. That's WhatsApp now encrypts all messaging for its billion users. This is a step toward making privacy universal.
Yeah, WhatsApp is a very popular app.
Yeah, basically, they're this messaging company that transmits conversations consisting of text, photos, videos, and location sharing. Well, they just turned on complete encryption for nearly 1 billion people out here that are using it. Okay, this means that no matter what happens, neither WhatsApp nor anyone else, including governments, can see the messages sent within the app itself. Now, if you don't know, WhatsApp is actually owned by Facebook, which recently voiced support for Apple in its fight against the FBI. Anyway, making encryption a standard feature for messaging services is a huge win for proponents of privacy, obviously. And WhatsApp is the largest app-based messaging service in the world. Okay.
Yeah. Of course, WhatsApp has to compete with quite a few other mediums here in the U.S., but overseas, in China and Australia and whatnot, just other places than the U.S. There are other places than the U.S. It's very interesting, when you look at a globe. But outside the U.S. market, WhatsApp has an almost commanding lead, compared to anyone else.
Well, what they're doing is offering a significant level of privacy for a large population of the world without even requiring knowledge of what encryption means. I mean, this all happens in the background. You don't even know it. The encryption protocol was developed by Open Whisper Systems. This is the same company that makes encrypted chat app, the encrypted chat app Signal. Okay. Now, it extends to every widely used smartphone platform like iPhone, Android, Windows Phone, but also some lesser used ones like the Nokia S40, the BlackBerry, and the BB10. WhatsApp is
all. Did you say Nokia? For anyone out there who does not know what that is, that's called a Nokia.
Nokia, yes, exactly. I said Nokia. Okay.
Nokia. Like a sequoia, but not. So it's a Nokia.
Nokia. Yes, exactly. Okay. Anyway, WhatsApp is also adding a method of verifying that a connection is secure by either scanning a QR code from the other phone or reading what WhatsApp calls a security code. Users can also quickly check whether an individual chat is encrypted by looking at the chat settings. Before you send someone a top secret communique, make sure they've updated to the version released today. Okay. Until every user updates their software, by the way, the service will not be completely secure, so it's a good idea to check. However, WhatsApp on iOS still backs up chat logs to iCloud, and despite any effort by Facebook, those could be given to a law enforcement agency. It's not known whether the backups are encrypted, but they've reached out to Open Whisper Systems and will update with any new information. Okay, the update to WhatsApp is available now, and updating the app is the only way to ensure encryption, period. Okay, so there you go. So I guess the only concern right now is if you're backing stuff up in the cloud, is the stuff that's in the cloud also encrypted, or has it been decrypted and available? I think that's the only thing, and they're going to follow up with that.
Mhm.
But eventually, I think this is gonna solve the problem.
Well,
Privacy.
admittedly, it's a very, very large service, and of course, it's free and ever growing. So, there's really no reason for people to ever turn away from it. And secure is definitely good, but yeah, this is something that we're gonna have to tackle like directly in a little while, because it's the idea of privacy, and as terror attacks ever increase, and public fear gets ever more worrisome. It's usually encryption that gets the gets the bad rap, saying that so and so used encryption to carry out these attacks, and encryption's bad for national security reasons, and encryption is bad for any number of reasons. Whereas I think a lot of the public, and definitely a lot of tech companies, as they see it, is that encryption protects their users, because not everyone is doing something terrible. And if people were really concerned about their privacy, they would simply just not use these services in the first place. There are better ways to overcome surveillance than by cracking encryption. So this is something good for them. I'm glad they're doing it, but this is something that's you can be dang sure we're going to see again and again and again. Until people stop doing bad things, and using technology to communicate and coordinate bad things, then this will never end.
Yep.
And usually people don't stop doing bad things.
No.
That's kind of going on forever.
Did you look at the picture in there from the WhatsApp story?
What about it?
Look at the phone. Look, there's the digit. That's a verify. That's your security code for your message. It is 4 rows of 5 digits each. So that's 20 numbers in each row. So that's 60 numbers. So that's 60 different places. That's how big the number is. And you have to find the one number in that 60-digit, number. I don't know if you can even pronounce if there's a name for a number that large, but it's huge. And
It's past quintillion. It's
past it. Yeah. These codes are unbreakable by traditional brute force method. So,
well, not unbreakable, but again, it's that whole risk reward thing. How many resources do you want to throw at this, when at the end of the day, all you're going to get is a very, very boring conversation about how your day went. It's no encryption is impossible to break. It's just how much time and resources and energy are you willing to throw at something that could potentially be absolutely useless.
Well, that's the argument to quantum encryption. They're saying that it is impossible to break the money. How much resources you throw at it, because now you're dealing with the Heisenberg uncertainty principle. By when you look at it, by the very fact that you're looking at it, alters it, and it can't be. You can't know what's on there. So that's why they're saying eventually quantum encryption will be the final code that will be unbreakable. But I think at that point it's just a matter of semantics. I don't see anybody breaking these codes either.
Right. Not everyone has a supercomputer at their beck and call.
Mm-hmm.
and actually that's a pretty good segue into our next story.
Okay.
Let's move on to NVIDIA. You know them. They
yeah.
make stuff. And one thing they do is that they provide CPUs and GPUs for supercomputers. Like, they are in the heart of a lot of supercomputers. Their Tegra systems and whatnot are the lifeblood of the fastest computers in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So now they have a new one called the NVIDIA's Insane DGX-1. It's a computer tailor-made for deep learning. And this is, again, from Engadget. And the subtitle says, if you have $129,000 lying around. So, of course, NVIDIA has moved its GPU business far beyond just powering gaming computers. And for several years now, the company has been focused on using its technology to power advanced machine learning technology. And, machine learning, it seems like we're hearing that every day now. But, of course, the most popular story that we have covered lately was, of course, AlphaGo and Google, using machine learning to defeat a World Go champion. And now NVIDIA has announced the positively wild $129,000 DGX-1 supercomputer. So here they had their CEO Jen Sun Huang, and he called the DGX-1 the equivalent of 250 servers in a box. So it has 7 terabytes of SSB storage.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what SSB is.
Okay.
Do you think it's a typo?
Solid state. I'm not sure.
It might be a typo. Okay, but anyways, SSB storage, 8 of the just announced Tesla P100 GPUs and 2 Xeon processors. It's an insane amount of computing power. Again, 170 teraflops in a single machine.
That's floating point operation. 170 teraflops. That's
right.
Yeah.
Incredibly powerful, and it's a 12 times improvement over what NVIDIA announced last year. I'm sure the price also reflects that.
You could play one heck of World of Warcraft with this machine, and throw every graphics you could possibly want at it.
Right.
But hey,
and just doing a quick Google search, unless anyone in our audience knows better than Google, which is entirely possible, but SSB definitely has to be a typo, and it should be SSD. So 7 terabyte solid state drive.
Uh-huh. Yep.
Right. And it even shows it here in the picture. So, that makes sense. But so as for who might be buying these computers, they're saying that it's for research purposes. The first machines off the assembly line will go to 10 universities, including MIT, Stanford, New York University, NYU, and Berkeley. The company is also positioning the DGX-1 as a key component of its new AI-driving machine learning system called Drive PX, which helps to enable vehicle recognition at 180 frames per second. That's the kind of stuff that they're going to have to use in these self-driving cars, just to make sure that they're not just checking in real time, but make sure that they're checking multiple times in any given instant. So, this is the kind of stuff that you're definitely going to want in a self-driving car. So, they're saying that the goal of this of such a system is to make deploying such massive computer power much easier. Data scientists and AI researchers today spend far too much time on homebrewed, high-performance computing solutions. And the DGX-1 is easy to deploy and was created for one purpose: to unlock the powers of superhuman capabilities and apply them to problems that were once unsolvable. So, the pricing is probably not a concern for those who they're actually targeting, like they said, universities and whatnot. $130,000, while for a consumer, my God, that's a house, folks. But for what they're aiming for, for research and development and for, universities, as I said, the price is really of no real concern. And with machine learning and artificial intelligence crucially important for companies like Google and Microsoft, there's a pretty big market for NVIDIA's all-in-one deep learning supercomputer. But I think the big thing here is that it uses all this computing power all in one box. Like it's think of it like a giant VCR. Like it's all this computing power, $130,000 worth of tech in something that one person can pick up and move. It's very, very compact, and and like they said, multiple processors, multiple GPUs, and just really, compared to the computer that you're probably listening to us now on, or the computer that's sitting in your lap, this is infinitely more powerful.
Well, many, many, many times over, at least. It's just really, really powerful. And again, this is, as you say, is not for the average person. This is for universities and scientific groups. But 10, 15, 20 years from now, maybe our smartphones will have the processing power of this computer.
Right. Well, and to put a little, to put this into perspective, a PlayStation 4, which is a pretty, a pretty common, device. A PlayStation 4 has the GPU to handle about 1.84 teraflops. So, and that's PlayStation 4. This thing can handle about 170 teraflops. So this would be like if you took the same computing power of about 100 PlayStation 4s and squeezed them all into one little box about the size of a PS4.
That'd be hard to do, though. I mean, the compression would be.
NVIDIA did it.
Yeah.
And maybe you have an Xbox One instead of a PlayStation 4. An Xbox One has about 1.31 teraflops. So that would be, again, like another 120 or 30 Xbox Ones inside one device.
Do they say what operating system it runs off of? Does it run off of Windows 10?
Something this powerful, I would assume it would not be running your basic Windows 10. I assume this would be running some kind of, self-cooked operating system that could actually, take advantage of
maybe
all the computing power.
Maybe Linux.
Yeah, I'm sure based on Linux, based on Linux or Unix, that's obviously a very good place to start because it's very customizable. But, Windows 10 is never going to be able to take advantage of, 10 graphics cards.
No, this is very.
You need something special to run.
Well, we had time to squeeze in one more story, I think, before the break. This again from Popular. Look at a lot of more stories from Popular Science these days. Obviously, the Oculus Rift is coming into place. Well, evidently, we're now finding out when you order a Microsoft HoloLens, what you're going to get with it. Okay, this is the HoloLens, of course, is Microsoft's augmented reality headset. Okay, well, these are the peripherals that are going to ship with it when you order it. This story again, Popular Science, call friends, and he says, Microsoft thinks that the future of computing will be some combination of holograms from Star Wars and the holodeck from Star Trek, which is why the company has developed the HoloLens, a headset that displays virtual characters as if they are right beside you. I mean, because you're actually seeing your surroundings, and then you see them kind of superimposed on them, but in ways that you can kind of reach out and touch them. Microsoft said it would be mailing out the first HoloLens headsets for software developers, which cost $3,000 each last month. And now it's published a video showing what you get for ponying up all that money. And the video is there. Included in the box are 7 different components. He says his personal favorite, which is the alternate nose cap that attaches to the headset and adjusts it to fit those of us with less conventionally shaped noses.
Schnozzes.
Noses, yeah, noses. Nose is a schnoz. Okay. Or schnoz is a nose. Anyway, he says, I'm just glad that the masters of our augmented reality future aren't leaving anyone out, especially people who can pay $3,000. So basically, you have different moldings for the size of your proboscis. And that's pretty much it. But again, there is a video up there if you want to read more about it from Microsoft. But the HoloLens is going out to developers starting today.
$3,000.
Well,
obviously for developers, not not a consumer product by any means.
Well-
but yeah, I just it's going to be hard to see. Well, I feel like people are jumping on board real quick with virtual reality, but I feel like if virtual reality kind of overtakes augmented reality, then that's going to kind of squeeze the market out for the demand for augmented reality. Like all these developer kits that are going to developers, because like I heard that you had to like pre-apply, like you couldn't even send in $3,000 and say, hey, give me one. Like they only made enough that like you have to say, I'm with a movie company, I'm with a game company, and here's my stuff, and here's what I would do with it. Like you had to apply and then give them $3,000. They weren't just taking as much money as they could. They were only giving these things out to very reputable people. So yeah, and I am excited to see just what they're planning to do with augmented reality, because we've seen what they're doing with virtual reality, and that's very exciting. And that's why we have the Vive, the Oculus Rift, the what have you. What can you do with augmented reality that's going to be so impressive?
Yeah, I mean, we saw those Minecraft demonstrations where they were playing Minecraft, on
Yeah,
a
that was pretty cool.
table in the living room, and doing all this stuff virtually, and using their hands to manipulate. Because with the augmented reality, you have a way of actually touching the objects and manipulating them with the HoloLens. And you're right. I think we are going to see some really interesting things coming out. Hey, we're almost at the break again, though, but we have some other interesting stories talking about touching a robot in a place that you shouldn't, and how it makes you uncomfortable.
Let's face it. There is no place on a robot that you shouldn't touch. It's a robot.
Yeah.
It's like, what? You touch the power button on your toaster? Won't the toaster get offended? What do you mean?
And all those people who are frustrated with IKEA, they're coming to you. They're actually coming to a kitchen showroom in virtual reality. And also Samsung, the first to market with 10-nanometer DRAM chips. All those stories and more are all coming up. Stay with us. Hi, this is Craig Crossman, host of the Computer America Show. You have important meetings to schedule. Your company's getting ready for its IPO, and you're in charge of the PTA fundraiser this month. So how do you coordinate everyone to be available at the same time? Are you still using emails, phone calls, even text messages to schedule meetings with a group of people? How's that working out for you? That's so great, huh? It's a fact that every day, millions of people suffer from scheduling headaches. Well, with Doodle, scheduling meetings with a group of people is quick and easy. With Doodle, you can easily propose available times to each member. Each one checks off the times that they are available, and then you simply pick the time that works best for the group, all in an easy-to-read display that integrates with your existing calendar. Nothing could be more simple. Give Doodle a try for free, and like millions of Doodle users, you'll truly see how easy it is to find the perfect date and time for all your meetings. That's www.doodle.com. Looking for a best friend? Brother Wolf Animal Rescue has your best friend waiting just for you. The mission of Brother Wolf Animal Rescue is to help build a sustainable, no-kill community where no dogs or cats are ever killed for population control, where true euthanasia is reserved only for animals who are irremediably suffering, or for animals who are truly a threat to society and with no hope of rehabilitation. Brother Wolf staff and volunteers go door to door, neighborhood by neighborhood, to educate citizens about local resources available for at-risk pets and to help their families connect with those resources. Brother Wolf's community-based approach to no-kill helps keep family pets healthy, happy, and in their homes and out of the local shelter system in the first place. For more information or to make a tax-deductible donation to this wonderful 501c3 organization, visit their website at www.bwar.org. Help to realize Brother Wolf's vision when no animal is euthanized for lack of a home.
Who's a good boy?
Why did the raccoon cross the road? I don't know. Must have been suicidal. Hi, Marty Winston with the News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America. This time, Padco Quiet Rock. This is about hearing through walls, which isn't fun if you're next to a TV room, or a bedroom, or a bathroom. Now there are new kinds of walls that can help reduce that noise, which is a challenge if you think about it, because a wall is really a huge diaphragm. Hebco sent a sample of Quiet Rock ES gypsum, that's a formal term for sheetrock or drywall, with a clever way to decouple sound right inside the board. It's a sandwich of special recipe gypsum with a rubbery viscoelastic polymer layer in the middle. The sound pickup from one side of the wall gets mechanically decoupled from passing through to the other side. Bottom line, Quiet Rock ES can help squelch those noises so nothing annoys us. Marty Winston, News Tips Bulletin for Computer America.
Welcome back to the Computer America Show. Here in our second hour, in the first hour, we had Aetherlight on. It was a great interview with, about video games and here on A Gamer Tuesday. It was a lot of fun to hear, about how they see their vision and how they're executing it. And, Craig, I don't think we even got into how desperate Auckland, New Zealand was for video game designers.
Yeah,
I believe you kind of alluded to that the other day about how the market is in such demand.
I'd forgotten about that. I should have brought that up with him. You're right.
We didn't cover that. So, wow, we'll never know why video game designers are in such demand. Just one of those weird things.
Yeah.
But but here in the second hour, we're doing computer and technology news brought to you by Slimmer Utilities.
Mm-hmm.
And Craig just finished up a story about, just what will be included in the
HoloLens.
The HoloLens, the Microsoft HoloLens box. And, the developer kit, not a consumer kit. But, of course, developers get their hands on it, make some stuff, and then in a year or two, that's when people are going to start purchasing it. So, augmented reality in our near future.
Mm-hmm.
Let's move on to this story from Gadget, and it's this is when politics meets tech, as seems to be happening so often lately. But yeah, sadly, it's tech companies and how much sway they have over just where they want their employees to work, because traditional, let's say you start a business, fixing motorcycles or fixing cars, or a carpet cleaning business or what have you. It doesn't really matter what you want or where you want it, because that's a local business. You can start it in one place, but what happens across the globe doesn't really affect your carpet cleaning business. Technology, not so much, because of the interconnected way that technology is. You may have an office in Colorado, but your customers are all over the US or even all over the world. And so if something happens in Brazil, that's going to affect you.
Mm-hmm.
And here we have from Gadget something that is, something that North Carolina in the US is finding very, very apparent. So here's this is from, again, Engadget, Mr. Billy Steele, and PayPal nixes the North Carolina Ops Center following an anti-LGBT law. So yeah, and now they're saying that the new law perpetuates discrimination. So, and this is the passing of HB2, a law that denies protections for people who are gay or transgendered, is proving to be very expensive for the governor of North Carolina. So in the weeks following the signing of an anti-LGBT law, a number of companies, production studios, and even the federal government have spoken out against the legislation. So some are pulling money in business ventures from the state, and one of those, which is the most recent, is PayPal.
Yep.
The financial transaction company announced plans to build a new operations center in Charlotte just before the bill passed. And today, because of the passing of the law, the company killed those plans, withdrawing the project that would have brought 400 new jobs to the area. So here's the official statement from the CEO of PayPal, saying that the new law perpetuates discrimination and it violates the values and principles that are core of PayPal's mission and culture. As a result, PayPal will not move forward with our planned expansion into Charlotte. Saying that went on to explain that the company include a strong belief that every person has the right to be treated equally and with dignity and respect, and that those values compel us to take action to oppose discrimination.
Yeah.
So yeah, and this is what I was saying, that a company that got its starts, that had its roots in Southern California, a state across the country passes one law, and all of a sudden they have to take action because what happens in one state affects the entire company. So, and of course, while pulling a major expansion project out of North Carolina is admirable, PayPal, of course, itself, has doesn't exactly have a solid track record when it comes to welcoming all. And this article kind of points out that they have cracked down on folks associated with sexual content, such as pornography and what have you. They have denied service and frozen funds from them.
Mhm.
And of course, they've even frozen charitable donations and disaster relief funds to to people. So PayPal, compliment them for their good things, call them out for their bad things. But they saw a problem here in North Carolina, and now it's they're obviously in numerous company.
Well,
because,
they also mentioned that Lionsgate and AE Networks,
I was just about to mention that.
No longer filming movies and television shows in the state of North Carolina until they repeal the law. I mean, they're getting a lot of pressure put on them, and should so.
Yep, and they even said here that the remake of Dirty Dancing that's slated for the Asheville area could be in jeopardy as well. So a number of tech CEOs have also signed letters of opposition. So of course you'll see who else pulls out of the state as well, because this is some very, very easy publicity to get right now. It's like, oh, we were going to bring 1 million jobs to North Carolina, but now that this bill is passed, we're not going to do anything. And then of course they get some free good publicity. But PayPal is kind of the head of one company, but I believe there was a list. Someone else was just telling me about a list of the companies that have refused to expand and bring business to North Carolina after North Carolina and South Carolina after this bill, because South Carolina also proposed another bill that a lot of movie producers weren't happy about, because a lot of television shows and movies are filmed in Atlanta. But and there were companies like Facebook, PayPal, of course, Sony, Microsoft, like really, really large tech companies. They're not very happy with that. So, it's politics meets tech, and it always sucks to see, because you like to keep the two separate. But whenever you pass legislation, you can't just think about what I guess you should think about just what the people around you think, but at the same time, when you're a state that's trying to attract global business, you have to think about the values of of these large companies, as North Carolina is painfully finding out now. So, it's just something interesting that we thought we'd bring to you.
Yeah, no, I believe when you can bring pressure to bear like this to a state or local government.
Well, and I guess the other big thing is that LGBT rights, after the whole gay marriage is legal, and you have a lot of formal legislation in support of the rights of those in that community. You really are going against the national majority in kind of trying to take away their rights and trying to say that this or the other. Like, North Carolina with this legislation is definitely going against the grain, and it's showing.
Well, as I was starting to say, is that when you can bring pressure to bear on a local or state government, when they're doing something that is so out of place with the social mores and ethics of our society, and that are reflected in that, and on a national scale, laws are passed on a national scale, and then local governments will try to say, well, not in our state, and they are so counter productive to a free and open society that we all proclaim to live in. I'm glad to see that further pressures are being brought to the local government because because these are these are the legislatures of the local state government, and they might not feel the reflection of the national government immediately, but I can guarantee you when things like this start happening to them locally because of a direct reflection of something that they passed, they're going to hear from their own constituents, and it goes right to them putting food on their table. I mean, it's going to hit them where they live, and hopefully it will bring about change in a positive manner.
Undoubtedly, and again, it's that thinking nationally thing that this may in the short term and for your immediate company, this may make sense and this may be what they're asking for, but looking at it in a much broader sense, obviously not of popular opinion. So yeah, PayPal, no longer going out to North Carolina.
Okay, all right. Well, there it is. Okay, Ben and I are continuing to do computer and technology news, brought to you by Slimware Utilities. And this next story here is one from Roku. And I just had the story and I just lost it. Hold on. Oh, here it is. Okay. The new Roku is just introducing a new $50 stick that fits a quad-core CPU in a smaller frame. This is like the computer on the stick. It's like the Intel's compute stick and what have you. Well, this is a new streaming stick for Roku, sort of like the Chromecast, the Google Chromecast. This is their version of it, but this is 8 times faster than the model that they offered before. Again, the Roku streaming stick, the purpose of this is basically you take this, you plug this into your computer, and it has its own little remote control, and you can watch programming, directly on your big screen TV. Again, Chromecast was the first one to do this, and now Roku has something like this. A lot of other companies have offered similar things. Anyway, on the path of upgrading, they've upgraded this thing. The previous stick that they introduced, according to the Engadget author, Devendra Hardwar, said that you wouldn't call it fast. Okay, the previous version. Says that's something Roku aimed to fix with the latest version of their streaming stick, which packs a quad-core CPU to deliver 8 times the processing power of its predecessor. Even more impressive, this new stick is almost as small as a USB flash drive, and it's still $50. I don't know what is it about these things, but they seem to. I mean, like I remember when Google introduced theirs with $35. The price point of these are so small, and they're just becoming more and more technologically improving them.
Well, yeah, and it's all about the user experience. That let's say you have one of these sticks. Like you don't want to like press something and have that 2-second disconnect while the processor revs up and kind of does what you want it to. Like you want that immediate satisfaction, and the better you can get at that, the better off Roku is.
Yep, exactly. Well, now while Roku wouldn't speak about any RAM or storage improvements, they did say that they've tweaked the device's antennas for better reception. It does not support 802.11ac Wi-Fi yet, but you can at least get a 5 gigahertz 802.11n technology, which is probably still the majority of most Wi-Fi out there, quite frankly. I mean, AC is cool and everything, but most of our devices are 802.11n these days. I think 802.11g and the ones that previous before the
802.11bgn.
Yeah, those are BG are pretty much over with, but N will handle B and G, and I think most devices today are 802.11n, and this supports that. The new stick supports also the Roku sports the Roku OS 7.1, which offers a few improvements when it comes to following movies and TV shows. And also, there's a slightly redesigned remote, which is a bit smaller than the Roku's last few remotes, but unfortunately, it doesn't have a headphone jack or voice control support. But on the bright side, the new Roku mobile app offers both of those features. So the ability to stream audio from whatever you're watching right from your phone, basically it's going to do that. It's going to be very handy for all Roku users. Now, in a brief demonstration with the Roku stick sitting in an enclosed AV cabinet, it was noticeably snappier than the previous model. Simple things like navigating around menus quickly or scrolling through Netflix titles was almost as smooth as the more powerful Roku 4. The author goes on to say, as a frustrated owner of the last stick, this one looks like an improvement in just about every way. The Roku stick is up for pre-order today and will hit stores later this month. So there you go. So if you're looking to upgrade or improve, Roku's got something out now, their stick, and it's the same price.
Yep. Wonder when AO211AC is coming out.
Well, it's the final draft is done. I mean, anything you buy now that they make a slightly little different improvement of it, if they change something in the specification, the device you have will certainly be upgradable. So you can get it now, and you can get many devices that are 802.11ac capable or ready to go. So
yep. And of course, 802.11ac, I believe, is going to be a speed increase. That lets you get the 10 gigs instead of 1 gig.
Oh yeah.
Over Wi-Fi. But 802.11ax, which is going to be coming out, is not faster per se, but 802.11ax is going to be the whole can handle many, many more devices on one bandwidth. So
it's also faster,
a little bit faster. But the point of that was not the speed.
Yep.
So anywho. Let's move on to, there were a lot of great stories. We were probably going to use some of these tomorrow if we can. But how about this one? Domino's Pizza. How much is too much? Maybe a lifetime supply of free pizza. Is that too much?
No,
not for me. I love Domino's. Oh my God. But yeah, here we have this one's from Motherboard, and a bug in the Domino's Pizza app allowed hackers to get free pizza for life.
Oh my gosh.
How about that for a bug? So,
yeah. Wow.
So being a responsible, friendly hacker means you don't get to take advantage of the bugs and holes you find, even if those could have let you get free pizza.
Oh,
I want free pizza. So Paul Price, a security consultant from the UK, found a bug in the British version of the Domino's Pizza app that let him do exactly that. Price found that the app's API wasn't processing payments correctly, allowing users with enough technical know-how to meddle with it and trick the app into accepting invalid payments, essentially allowing them to order pizza for free. So it looks like, and here we have Price writing in his blog saying that it looks like my order was placed without a valid payment. Surely this is an oversight edge case, and Domino's will have back office checks in place before the physical starting to prepare my order, right? Wrong. Price wasn't sure it actually worked, so he called the store to double check, and surely enough, they told him his pizza was being prepared. He said, "My first thought, awesome. My second thought, oh no." So the pizza actually showed up at his door, according to Price, but at that point, he admitted the payment didn't go through and paid in cash. Aw, yay, white hat hackers. So, and they have a quote here saying that we take security extremely serious and discovered this issue last year during one of our frequent reviews. We are pleased to say it was resolved very quickly. So, but the moral of the story is that there are plenty of apps out there with faulty APIs and buggy.
I wonder if this guy, Rod Brooks, who's the head of Domino's IT, doesn't get free pizza and doesn't tell anybody about it.
I'm sure if you work for the company, you get, friend price, but I don't know. Free Domino's pizza as compared to losing your job with Domino's seems pretty low reward, high risk.
Yeah.
But yeah, so buggy APIs were partly responsible for the massive hack of the toy company VTech. VTech was a company with all the internet connected devices that were letting people potentially hack into internet connected toys and let people bug little kids with the microphones built into toys or even webcams built into toys. So yeah, that was bad. And of course, just a few weeks ago, security researchers showed that the hackers could mess with Nissan electric cars from all over the world, turning the AC and draining the car's battery. the company had to disable the app to fix the bug.
So yeah, and we haven't heard the end of this. This is going to go on. We're going to see this happening throughout, I think, time.
Well, APIs are complicated. It's the set of code that you give out and let people get further control of your products, and that inherently giving people more control to design their own use cases. Just you're giving people. It's like giving people the keys to the storage shed, and then they can find a way. They can find a way through the storage shed into your house. Giving people more control is always very, very risky. And if something terrible was going to come out of it, it would be through their API. So you can't catch all the bugs. And luckily, white hat hackers exist and security researchers exist that help them identify these before they become too big of a problem.
I don't know about you, but I'm getting hungry looking at that Domino's, that picture.
Oh my God, that cheese melted perfectly. Oh, I want it.
God, I want one of them.
Some people don't like Domino's. I think ever since their kind of revitalization, where they started using more garlic butter and stuff like that, I think it actually tastes pretty good now.
Yeah,
there was a day and age where Domino's was pretty bottom of the barrel when it came to quality, but they've definitely stepped up their game.
Yeah, they have. I do like it. Maybe we'll order one tonight. Now I tease this story, and I'm gonna go ahead. We have time to do it. This is from Popular Science, Dave Gershorn. How artificial intelligence will translate Facebook photos, not text, but Facebook photos for the blind. Okay. So there's a blonde girl, and she's standing there, and all you see is her face. Well, obviously, he says it's easy to dwell on the potential threats of artificial intelligence much more often than the field promises to make humans' lives better. The algorithms are meant to help. Algorithms are meant to help connect with our friends, find information, even transport us through the physical world. Well, starting today, Facebook is using AI to automatically generate text captions for every photo on Facebook to provide much-needed accessibility for the blind or visually impaired. Now, because the developers wanted the text generated by the AI to be extremely accurate, they trained it intensively on images of just 100 different types of object. So at present, it is limited to identifying human, pizza, baseball, and the like. But as research progresses, the captions will get increasingly versatile and complex. To surf the internet, the visually impaired often rely on screen readers, which dictate words on screen. However, screen readers are only good as the content they can read. If text is missing, they can't read it. Web standards dictate that images should have a field called alt text describing in words what the image depicts. However, on most Facebook images, the only text available for screen readers is the status posted along with the photos. Okay, so by applying AI algorithms, Facebook is able to scan each image and pull out some information about what it depicts. And this is very accurate. I mean, I was looking for something on Google, and I instead of looking for a word, I had a picture of it because I really couldn't describe it in words, and I took the picture, and I had Google search for the item via the picture, and it found a lot of similar things, but it found the item too. Yeah, very good. Now, if someone posts a picture of a pizza, the algorithm will be able to automatically put the word pizza into the alt text of the image, so the screen reader can tell it to the user that you're looking at pizza. The captions won't be seen by most of the social network's 1.5 billion users, but it marks a shift for those who can't see photos on an increasingly visual platform.
Yeah, and one very important thing is that because this is happening through Facebook, it could also be because Facebook is very interested in artificial machine learning, that because there's so much data and because there's so many pictures, there's a large chunk of data out there for Facebook, because they already have your name, your email address, who your friends are, who you contacted, how often you log into, where you log in from, location, time, all that kind of stuff. They get all that kind of information. But with all these photos that are coming into and through Facebook, if they can find a way to turn that into text, which then they can turn that into data, then that is a whole nother set of data points that Facebook can take advantage of.
Yeah,
it makes clear business sense why Facebook would want to have this happen, but as a side effect is also good that that they visually impaired might just get a way to identify pictures in a newsfeed.
Yeah, but it's not as simple as you're talking about, because to a machine there's no gravity or family relationships or love. There's only data. So to understand, let's say that a father and daughter are walking on a hiking trail, or that a cat is on a bed, or a machine must first learn about the physical world. And that's just what Facebook's accessibility team needs to do. Okay, right now they have these objects recognized called tags. A tag is a cat, a tag is a bed, a tag is a person. But with that information, they can say there are 4 people with ice cream cones in a photo, or a pizza pie. But their goal is to get to a point where it's describing much, much more than just the tags. And that's the challenge. Not just saying cat in bed. You want to say cat on the bed, or cat jumping over the bed. So basically they have a starting point, and they're continuing to work with this. This is a very long article, but basically, and they describe some of the conundrums and hurdles that you have to deal with artificial intelligence, pattern recognition, and mistakes, and how they're going to
90 seconds.
We might do more on this on another show, because it is an interesting article, and we might do a little bit more of it when we have the time. But that about wraps up the show for today. Thanks to all of you for being here, and again, I want to thank Tim Cleary, who is the world builder for Aetherlight, was on the show in the first hour, talking about the Aetherlight Chronicles of the Resistance. Thanks to him for being here on the show. And
60 seconds.
Tomorrow, it's the first Wednesday of the month. Mike Cermak is going to be here, owner-operator of TechGuy.org. Always a lot of fun to have on the show. He's going to be here with the first hour. And then in the second hour, yes, computer and technology news, more of that, brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. We might do more on this artificial intelligence and Facebook, because it's a really interesting story. But again, thanks to all of you for being here, and Ben and I will see you here, same time, same place, same channel. So until tomorrow afternoon, this is Craig Crossman, hoping that your hard disk never becomes floppy. We'll see you tomorrow afternoon.
Have a good one, everyone.
Bye-bye.
10 seconds.
Okay. Not sure what happened here, but it looks like
Did you close out?
No, it's getting ready to, oh, there it goes. Now it's getting ready to close it out. Here we go. Sorry about that, folks.